Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. We're going to dive into some of the markets here while we have about 20-25 minutes, and then we're going to be joined by the Devour team. They're going to be coming in talking about the Web3 industry as it relates to the restaurant industry and that big shift that entire industry is going through and what they're building. So can't wait to get to that, but we're going to dive into some of the news, some of the information out there right now surfacing here on Thursday, July 6th. And we've got a Bitcoin price tag at 30,500, which we've kind of been hanging out in this range for a little while. We did pop up over 31K, if you remember. It was actually back on the 4th of July, dialed back a little bit. There's a little uncertainty out there in the markets, given what's going on with Bitcoin ETFs. As we all know, BlackRock filed for their Bitcoin ETF. That has sparked a ton of interest. A ton of other people are either refiling for a spot Bitcoin ETF or doing it for the first time. The issue here is right now that the SEC is not quite ready to say yes. They're not quite ready to go all in on the Bitcoin ETF idea. I think eventually they're going to come around to it. We do know that the new exchange is coming, the EDX exchange. That's going to bring a lot of new adoption into crypto. So let's see who we got in the house here this morning. Ali, what's up, man? Good morning to you. Always a great supporter. Thank you so much. And we've got True. How you doing, man? Good morning. Josh is in the house. A lot of OGs here. A lot of people who were on the streams with us way back in May of 2021 when we used to do those 7-8 hour live streams when Shiba Inu was going absolutely crazy. Can't wait for those days for sure. Good morning, Chris. How we doing? EMAC is in the house. What's up, man? Got somebody on Twitch. Willie G. What's up? Shibarium. What's going on, man? Let's go. We are streaming on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. So all three platforms. We've got people from all over. Appreciate you guys so much for hitting that like button. Definitely helps us out. Push us up in the old YouTube algorithm. Takes like 0.2 seconds, right? It's totally free. Really helps us out. And make sure you do that on your way in. And let's see, what do we have in terms of the top movers? Let's start there, and then we'll kind of dive into some of the articles out there, some of the news and information. eCash has been really on a tear, actually. It's up 55% in the last 7 days, up 16% right now. That is XEC, eCash. Some huge runs. Look at this 1 month chart here for eCash. Crazy, right? Really nice run here out of nowhere. And why? Well, it's tied into Bitcoin Cash. Why is Bitcoin Cash important, and why are people caring about it? It's one of the 4 cryptos that are going to be listed on that new exchange that I talked about right at the top there, the EDX exchange. So the 4 cryptos is going to be available right out of the gates: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash. So XEC is a rebranded version of Bitcoin Cash, a fork of Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash. It calls itself a crypto that's designed to be used as electronic cash. So think of it as transactional Bitcoin in a way, right? Whereas Bitcoin itself, we kind of look more at as a store of value. At least that's the way I look at it, right? So that could be one of the big reasons why eCash is leading the top 100 markets right now on the heels of that. You know, Bitcoin Cash itself has been having a nice performance here as well. It's up 16% in the last week. Ranked number 14. Look at that market cap back up over $1.5 billion. Volume way up. I think you're going to see a run out of these 4 cryptos. And Litecoin, let's take a look at it, because I think Litecoin the other day actually had a nice run as well. It dialed back a little bit. Where is Litecoin? Let's see. Should be right up in here. Yeah, right into the top 10. It's back up over 100. So you can see here in the last month, though, look at this run up. I mean, right back in mid-June, we were sitting at, let's see. Back in mid-June, we were sitting at $72, right? And the volume, we couldn't really climb up over that 550 million mark for a while there. And then all of a sudden, just a couple days ago, 3 days ago, we were up over 1.7 billion in volume. Litecoin went on a nice tear all the way to $112. You know, their halving is before Bitcoin's. Litecoin's one of those OG crypto plays that it's not going away, right? And it's certainly going to be one of those cryptos that gets adopted, I think, by the institutions, just given its track record, given how long it's been around. You can kind of trust it from the institutional side. a little bit more. So Litecoin certainly one to watch. We often forget about it, but let's see who else we got in the house. Real Dominicans team, what's up, man? Good morning. Ali, my man. Good morning, Zach. Looking at the daily chart and weekly chart, looks as if Bone still has a lot of room to run this month and in August. Yeah, Mikey, I am right there with you, man. I am loving Bone right now. I actually just acquired some not too long ago, and let's see where we're at today. Back up to $1.04. I got some at around 90 cents. I acquired some more, but it's been quietly moving. Look at this. Bone was at that same target that we just looked at Litecoin back on the 15th of June. It was at 68 cents. Now we're up over $1, and I agree with you. I do think we have a lot of room to run here with Bone, and obviously we know what's coming. I think $2 to $2.50 price target here on Bone, and we were there not too long ago, right? We were up over $2, if you remember. Go out to the 1 year, check it out. Back here in February, it was, right? February 23rd of this year. Look at that. We topped out at $2.02. So we've been there in this calendar year, and I do think we could see an upside. And you go late last year, same thing. We climbed all the way up to about $2 there as well. So I think this is our kind of immediate resistance, long-term resistance, if you will. But I think ahead of Shibarium here, it's one of the safest bets in crypto. That's my opinion. And that's the way I was looking at it. And that's why I moved more in, because I'm like, wait a minute, this is probably a great opportunity, relatively low risk, to get a 2x. Right? And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. And I've got my long-term bag, but listen, that doesn't mean I'm not going to trade it either, right? You could do a little bit of both. That's what I like to do, actually. Get a quick sip of coffee there for the all the anti-sippers. Apologize. I know we've got a bunch of those. I'll never forget that guy that was just going crazy one time. I was slurping coffee. All right, so that's what's going on that front. But in terms of the top movers, what else do we got? Bitcoin Cash. We know why that's up there. We talked about that. Solana. Nothing else really moving too much. Pepe did have a nice little run here in the last week. Great little run up, actually. Came all the way from the 15 level, popped up to the 18 level. That was right on the day before the 4th, on the 3rd. The thing with Pepe that I'm really impressed with is this number right here, this volume number. That has remained pretty high. Really high. So Mikey said he got in Bone at 96 cents. Nice. On the 4 hour, it's headed to the floor, but then we'll bounce back. Love it. Love it. So yeah, the team from Devour is going to be joining us, guys, in a little bit. They are the bridge between Web3 and restaurants. Talked about them last year. They've been around for a while. Really strong company. Can't wait to have their team on here. Austin Hilton's going to be joining me too, so don't go anywhere. That's coming up at the top of the hour, coming up here at 10 o'clock, so don't go anywhere. We'll be breaking it down and talking with them and where they think this industry is going. And if you're interested in checking them out, make sure you check out the links that are in the description. And let me just make sure, actually, I put them in there. Yes, the website's in there. You've got the CoinMarketCap, and you got their Twitter. So if you're interested in checking them out, make sure you do so down there. Definitely do that. And again, they're going to be joining us here at the top of the hour. All right, so what else do we got? Any top news here? Let's see what we got here. Latest news. Let's see. What do we got? I saw this one this morning. Crypto.com is backing USDC deposits on Avalanche. Avalanche is kind of a chain that not talked about a lot, but super underrated, I think. One of those cryptos that burst on the scene, late in 2021. I don't know about you, but I missed the boat on Avalanche the first time. It's great that we have that opportunity back again. Kind of did what Solana did in a lot of ways. The other interesting thing that Avalanche offers, I was actually talking to somebody about this who's working on the Avalanche blockchain doing this, is this idea of fractionalized real estate. That is something to watch with Avalanche. We also know that Avalanche partnered with Amazon So Avalanche is a chain to watch for sure. Crypto.com backing USDC deposits over there on Avalanche. XRP Ledger Python library gets a big upgrade. And of course, we've been tracking all the XRP news. If you're new to the channel, we're talking about XRP actually almost every day right now. There's so many things being said and talked about in the media. So we're covering XRP heavy right now. We're covering all crypto heavy. So if you haven't subscribed, definitely consider doing so. Love to have you join the community. RippleX, the team charged with the support and development of XRP Ledger, has announced a significant upgrade to the XRP Ledger Python library. That is XRPLPY. In a new tweet, RippleX makes it known that a new version of their ledger is out now. And it says the wallet class has been revamped to let you keep your keys in whatever format you want. You can now autofill, sign, submit your transactions all in one function. Find out what's new and how to migrate. So there's some Ripple news for you. They're still building. Yes, they're going on on an adventure right now with the SEC, but they're still going. They're still moving, especially outside the U.S. How about Dan Gambardello talking about Cardano? Huge Cardano bull. And he's given some reasons why ADA will start outperforming soon. And listen, I love Dan's content. I cover Cardano as well right here on the channel. I've got a big holding in Cardano. It's a slow mover, man. It is not one that you wake up to and see it going absolutely parabolic, right? It is a slow grower for sure, but it is certainly one to keep your eye on. And here's the thing. It's been around for a really long time. Cardano's been around since 2017. It's been in or around the top 10 since 2017. So it's almost like a stable coin. And people say that about Cardano as like a negative thing. I look at it as a positive. They're like, why would I want to buy that? It's like buying a stable coin. Well, in a really volatile market, sometimes having some less volatile assets could be good, right? So Cardano is one of those for me that I look at kind of similarly in the Bitcoin and Ethereum kind of class, right? Doesn't move a lot, but when it does, it moves with the overall market. And you should get good gains. So let's see. Oh, we got Austin here in the house too. Let's bring him in. Let's go like this. What's up, man?
What's going on?
Oh, not much. Talking about Cardano, talking about the markets. How are you, man? What do you think? What are you doing right now?
I'm good. I'm on my back patio today, so there's the
I love it.
It's not 8 million degrees right now, right? So I can be out here for a minute or two.
I love it, man. Looks nice out there too. You got a nice setup.
Yeah, it's nice.
Got the pool out there.
I do. Of course, the pump broke the other day. There's always something wrong.
That's the thing with getting those nice things, man.
Yeah, it's always something breaking. So, how many we got with us right now?
We got about 36 with us on YouTube, but I'm sure we got a bunch on Twitter and some people on Twitch. So
you see that Satoshi officially came out and announced the launch date for Shibarium?
No.
Yeah,
I missed that.
There's an article on CryptoNews.net if you want to go over there and
yeah.
Actually, you know what? I'll text you a link to it. Hold on, I got it right here. Hold on, I got you for you. I got it. He's announced it. So he's announced it coming out at ETH Toronto, which is the 13th of the August 13th to the 17th. So that's when we.
I think I got it. I think I found it right here.
Let me see. Yep, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah. So I did a video on that, and I'm like, whoa, hey, all right, and it coincides with the date you and I have been talking about, man, like mid-August. So we've been kind of talking about that August date. So yeah, so if you go down, it's in the first paragraph, you'll see it's right there in the.
It's kind of fitting though too, because I think I even mentioned this yesterday that Shib launched in August 2020.
Yeah, they talk about it. So yeah, 3-year launch, our 3-year anniversary, right? And yeah, it's right there. And they're also going to launch the world paper, and so he's going to speak via AI.
Interesting.
So, kind of quite a bit in that little two paragraphs there.
Interesting. I love it. So yeah, it was funny because I saw I saw that article that they were like CEO of Red Hill, which
That's
For
me.
those of you out there, that's awesome. CEO of Red Hill is eyeing August as the launch of Shibarium.
Yeah.
And I had to make a video as soon as I saw that. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be like, hey, who's the CEO of Red Hill? I mean, what's his opinion matter? But anyway, let's cover.
Yeah.
You know, I said something like that.
Yeah.
But I saw that was, you're spot on, man.
Yeah. I would every now and then. What is it? A blind squirrel finds a nut. I mean, every now and then you get one right.
Every blind squirrel finds a nut sometimes. Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, so this will be cool. So they're going to do it at the ETH Toronto event, which is, I believe, the second year they're doing this, coming up on the 15th, 16th of August. It's 13th, 17th, but I think the actual event is 15th,
15, 16. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's a couple. There's ETH Women. There's the blockchain futures. There's obviously there's some different moving parts there, right? But bottom line, there's your date. You know, it's and I know you and I have been talking about Bone.
Yep.
I know you bought a lot of Bone. I bought a lot of Bone. I haven't looked at has Bone gone up? Nothing's really going on in the market right now, but
it's sitting at $1.04. I think it got up to $1.06 at one point. But you know, when we started talking about it a little bit amongst ourselves, and I was just actually telling people out there listening, you know, right. I mean, it was 68 cents back in mid-June. We were like, hey, you know, it was kind of quietly moving up, and then it was like, hey, this thing's like 85 cents now. It's probably a good idea. And we were talking about, I don't know if you heard it, probably a pretty good safe bet right now in crypto. Wouldn't you say?
Sorry, eating ice. I think it's the single best / safest bet is out there. I have a very simple analogy, and they're same, but they're same, but not the same. How would you have liked to have been around when Ethereum was $30, $50, $100, $5? I don't know what the number is. You know, I mean, am I saying that Bone is the same as Ethereum? No, that's not what I'm saying, but it is what I'm saying, right? I mean, I think this is going to be the biggest layer 2 launch out there. And I'm not, again, I know it's not Polygon-matic. I mean, they're not comparable, but yet they are. I mean, for what Shibarium is going to be and what it's bringing to the ecosystem and the amount of projects and blah, blah, all that stuff I've said a million times, and so have you. I think it's going to be amazing. And I think that Bone, we're getting even more insight, right? We know the burn mechanism now, that transaction that basically it's going to be stored in Bone,
correct,
and then transferred, swapped out to Shiba Inu tokens and then burned. Okay, so it's a safe bet. I mean, it's such a safe bet. So yeah,
I mean, I agree on everything you just said there. And when you look at this, here's the crazy thing. I think people forget. Bone had a little run up earlier this year
on really nothing. I mean, just nothing. Speculation. It went to $2.
Yep. Well, and same thing late last year, pretty much on pure speculation, got up to that same point. So I'm looking for Bone to at least get to $2, right above it, right where we kind of topped out ahead of this launch of Shibarium. And then obviously what happens there, all things are off, all bets are off then, right? Because as people use Shibarium more and more, I mean, the upside potential here is just tremendous. So I'm loving it. And Leash is another one. You got to you got to keep your eye on this one. This one, same thing, out of nowhere, back in February, same month, this thing went to $710.
Yeah,
sitting at 298 right now. So, that's another one to watch. All of these ecosystem plays.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be big. I mean, I'm kind of doing like, I am gonna buy some Leash. I haven't had it in a while. I'm gonna buy some Leash. I mean, but I'm definitely leaning heavily into Bone, like 98% Bone, and then some Leash, and then kind of
Yep. Yeah, Huey's in the house. Let's see. Emac says good morning to you. Huey says good morning. Always good time when you guys team up. Yeah, so we're going to be teaming up with the team at Devour at the top of the hour. So, guys, don't go anywhere. We're 4 minutes away. We've got Chad Horn, one of their team members, one of their devs that is backstage right now. And wait until you hear about this company and what they're doing to revolutionize the entire restaurant industry. There's an old friend, Austin and I have a good friend who said everything needs to be kind of redesigned for the blockchain. Everything needs to be reimagined for the blockchain. That's exactly what Devour is doing right now with the restaurant industry. The days of the old punch card reward systems, the loyalty programs, those are of the past. And we're going to dive into some of the things they're doing. And I think you guys are going to be super, super impressed. And all those links, by the way, are down there in the description. So if you want to check those out, feel free to do so at any point. And can't wait to talk to Chad and dive into that a little bit deeper. Great team. And they've been around for a while now. And it's been awesome to see them continue to build here throughout this bear. But anything else, Austin? Well, we're about 3 minutes away. We're going to bring Chad in, talk about Devour. Anything else that's kind of on your mind right now in the markets? I mean, pretty flat right now. Bitcoin did pop up to 31K, I think, within the last few days, kind of hovering now at 30. Anything kind of on your mind?
Summers are boring as hell.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. We've lived these dog days of summer, right? I mean,
I think it's just there. Make money and may go away, right? I mean, I think July is going to be probably fairly chill. I think we might see a run up in Bone and some of these other assets leading into August. I think the smart people are looking at plays like that. But I think overall we're going to be a little flat. I mean, we've got the FOMC Federal Reserve meeting July 25 and 26. We'll probably get we might get a break. If we get a break, if they don't take action on that, that'll spark a nice bull run for a little bit. Other than that, I think July is going to be fairly quiet. If we get the SEC lawsuit settlement with Ripple, that's going to be, and if it goes Ripple's way, that's going to be insanity in a positive way. If it doesn't go Ripple's way, that's going to send the markets lower. So I think, we're kind of waiting on that, and we've got FOMC. Outside of those two big kind of market macro catalysts, I think it's going to be quiet. That's what I got. So
quiet's not necessarily a bad thing, I guess, right? I mean, especially all the noise that we've had recently in the last.
It sucks for you and I.
Yeah. From a content. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, even when things were crazy with the FTX stuff, a lot of people wanted to know what's going on, right? So all news is good news when you're a content creator. But I'd much rather be talking about a Bitcoin price flying and Shiba Inu setting new all-time highs. That's when it's fun. And Chad's already chiming in here too. He says, "Hey, all, looking forward to sharing what Devour has been up to. Let's have a great discussion." Yeah, can't wait to get into it here with Chad. And with that, let's bring him in. Let's bring him in here.
Hey,
what's going on,
Jack? Awesome. Good to see you guys.
Great to see you, man. Great to see you. So,
Chad, what do you think about the summer, man? What do you think? What's your you heard my speculation. So what's your thoughts?
No, I don't spend enough time learning everything I need to know to speculate on that, because you want to see a team that's just heads down building. That's us. So I listen to you guys to have an idea what to expect this summer.
Now you know. Now you can go, well, Austin, well, this, BlackRock that, and like you got all you need is like 4 talking points, and you really sound like what you're talking about. There you go.
Awesome.
So Chad, I mean, just kind of at a high level, I mean, we're going to dive into it a little bit deeper here as we roll along, but for some people out there that are completely new, what is Devour doing? We kind of hinted at it a little bit, but go ahead, man. Jump right in.
Yeah, what is Devour doing? There's so many ways to talk about what we're doing because we have very big ambitions, but I think I'll go back to the beginning with the story. My name's Chad Horn, co-founder of Devour, and my co-founder CEO, Shelly Ruppel. We're in a similar spot, right? We spent our whole careers in restaurant technology. We've been working with restaurants and the technology companies they depend on forever, right? 45 plus years experience now. And we saw that none of the companies that were kind of the cornerstones of the restaurant technology sector were doing anything with the blockchain. And this is even going back to, 2022, right? Even still, like, other than us, right? Like who out there of any relevance doing anything for the restaurant industry? The restaurant industry is massive. And meanwhile, we see sports, entertainment, fashion, doing all of these awesome things. And our industry that we love is going to get butt kissed unless we did something about it. So that was the origin of why we created Devour in the first place. I destined to be that restaurant technology company that was going to bridge the Web3 world with the massive restaurant industry. And because we had the background on how to do that, right? Because we knew all the intricacies of restaurant operations and the technologies they depend on and how blockchain would need to fit in that world. And then the awesome part of the journey that has led us to, not today, but even well before today, is the product that would actually tie into restaurants at scale, right? Our ambition truly is to transform the restaurant industry with the power of blockchain. And on the other side of it, it's perfect because you and your community, everybody knows its utility. It's going to be real applications that dramatically transform the user experience, leveraging the power of blockchain. That's going to bring us into the future together. That's going to lead to mass adoption. And the great thing is there is a lot of great stuff about the blockchain, not the least of which is the power of community, digital communities that are forming up around the world. And that's relevant to restaurants because that's where people are, right? People are in these digital communities, and we'll get to some of the other places, other channels like games, we're in the metaverse because that's where players are going. And so our mission is simply to connect people with restaurants in the new way of doing things. We're doing this for the next generation. So what you see ultimately, we have an ecosystem of around this, right? Devour Go is our app. Actually, a little bit of alpha for you guys. We're in the App Store for Android right now. And we'll be in iOS now. We've been on the web app on the web, but now we're in the App Store. So check that out. But what you can do there as a user is a very familiar experience. You can order food, but now you're getting recognized for the digital communities you're a part of. You get exclusive access to our restaurant partners because of the NFTs, the digital assets, ultimately the tokens in your wallet, because we're that bridge, the Web3 world to restaurants. And everybody eats, Zach, everybody eats, Austin, the restaurants aren't going anywhere. What is changing is how consumers engage with the brands and the restaurants in their friends. Everything's changing because of technology, and we're making sure that restaurants, because blockchain will be at the center of this, restaurants are getting to play in this space by connecting with people in the ways that they want to be connected with on the basis of their digital communities, their identity, what they want to share through their wallets, etc. We're making that happen, and we're doing it for the mainstream audience.
I love it. Austin, I got a question. I don't know if you want to jump in though, or okay. Chad, it's great to see you on this list right here, that I've got pulled up on screen with Uber Eats and DoorDash. And I know we had talked about, I think it was just kind of off air, if you will. We were talking recently in the last couple of weeks, and I think we were bringing up the whole Starbucks kind of thing and their partnership with Polygon and kind of, reimagining, redesigning loyalty points and loyalty rewards and kind of listening to the customer more. Can you kind of expand upon that in terms of, what Devour's doing in that regard? Kind of, getting away from this old stale model that, I guess is Web 2. Yeah,
great question. So what Starbucks has realized is that this is something that restaurants need to do, right? But they realize that they already had a successful Web 2 loyalty program, probably one of the most successful. And even still, they knew this isn't the pulse of the next generation. So they did Odyssey, and they launched it in beta and still in beta. But what they created was a loyalty program based on digital assets and experiences. And it was what it really did is created the fans that were already interested in Starbucks, and it let them take that next step to ultra fandom. And let them go in a virtual tour of a coffee farm, and I forget which country, and complete all of these objectives, very gamified, and earn really valuable rewards as a part of the process. And one of the things that excites me about that isn't just that the user experience is good, which should matter to everyone here, but that it's going to drive and has driven the right business results for Starbucks. They are getting more orders. They are getting more business as a result of that. Because what businesses need to see is that, hey, this isn't just a cool thing to do. It makes business sense. So it's the same thing at Devour, and one of our big partners, Huey, your question, WowBow, 700 locations across the country, a virtual brand, probably the most successful virtual brand that I can think of. And they recognize this too, right? That, hey, we have a loyalty program. We need to have a loyalty program. There's all kinds of different people, all kinds of different generations, but we need to make sure we're doing this for Gen Z. and they're the largest generation, and they have massive purchasing power. And Gen Alpha right behind them. These folks always grew up always knowing the internet. Old school loyalty programs don't work. They need to give more control and intrigue and experience to those users. So they rolled out the WowBow Collect About. So you get a digital asset, and it unlocks all of these experiences at their partners, including Devour, where you can go and then get exclusive benefits for holding that asset in your wallet. So the thing tying it back to Starbucks is Starbucks, WowBow, they're showing the industry that the business results are there, so we as Devour can bring in all of the restaurants into the industry in an easy way. We don't ever require the restaurant to understand anything about the blockchain or Web3 to lean in, take their first step, and start benefiting themselves and the users on the other end of the app.
Love it. I love it. And guys, if you want to get more information, by the way, as we're rolling along here, love your questions. Drop them in there. Drop them down below. We'll get to all of them. But if you're wanting to find out more, of course, you could do a deep dive. Check out the white paper. Links are down below in the description. Make sure you're following Devour on Twitter, staying up to speed. As Chad said, these utility-based projects, companies that are building right now, there's been a lot kind of said about the meme coins, and that's great, right? And they are what they are. But these top tier projects looking to revolutionize different industries, these type of companies are the ones that rise to the top in the end. I'm always keeping my eye on companies like this. So many great ones out there building, and Devour is certainly one of them. So Chad, I got one more, and then Austin, you could jump in. But I want to know more, Chad, about the sports industry and how this kind of fits, because I think there's such a massive opportunity here with sports and like fandom, because you already have these huge communities of people that have like this, passion and loyalty toward a fan base. Like, how can Devour capitalize on this?
Yeah, sports is one of our favorite examples of what kind of community that's going to bring food and the blockchain together, because so much so that we actually joined a sports technology accelerator in Hype Innovation. I don't know if everybody realizes just how much sports and sports leagues and teams are leaning into this space. It's ridiculous. We have a meeting coming up with a NBA team not too far from myself. But the reason for this is because, to your point, sports fans are passionate. Mm-hmm. They're large groups, and even sports as a whole has been looking for a way. They've seen their audiences with the younger generation diminish. They need a way, right, desperately, to make sure they're staying relevant to the younger generation. They already know that, and so they've been leaning into the space. So we as Devour say, wait a minute, sports and food have already gone together in a big way for some time. So, hey, sports teams, sports fans, wouldn't you like to have a digital asset, collectible that recognizes your community? And these are out there, like the Manchester United, that football team with 1 billion fans internationally. They rolled out an NFT last year. They didn't call it that, but it's between 600,000 and 700,000 of those minted. Sports teams across this country getting into space. The NFL, you go in 100 games last season, get a commemorative NFT ticket. We can turn those assets into benefits, exclusive access to the restaurant partners that those teams want to partner with. So sports are perfect because of the size of the audience, the intensity of the audience. And one of the things we always talk about is that if you are part of a community that you're passionate about, and I know a lot of the people listening are passionate about various communities, like Shib, for example, for good reason, you want to be able to communicate and express to your friends, your contacts, that you are part of that. You want to express it in different ways. And expressing your community involvement through food is just common sense. People have always been doing that. Imagine going to a restaurant and say, hey, look what this restaurant is doing for the Shib community. Look what this restaurant's doing for the NFL, my favorite sports team. It's just so obvious.
I love it. I love it. Mikey's got a great one. Chad, what separates you from Dash and Uber Eats?
Blockchain, right? I mean, kind of from a technology perspective, but beyond that, the community recognition, right? That I, as a member of any community, I, as a believer in the future of crypto, Web3, could come in here and play, right? In that world. And I mean play literally. You come into Devour Go, there is a section called Go VIP. You can play games. You can share content. You can order food, all to earn points and level up an account. because that is part of the community experience. We're actually introducing individual and community leaders to that as well soon. But the next generation are game players. 90% of Gen Z identify as gaming enthusiasts. So yeah, DoorDash, Uber Eats, they do not have gamified ordering. No. Gamified ordering and kind of making a complete experience there for a generation that grew up with PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, etc. It just makes sense. And so much so that we're thinking about the app integrating to multiple gaming and metaverse worlds, right? Our first partner, and they're phenomenal, is Ultiverse, where you are playing a game and you can order food in it, right? And then you get that food delivered to you IRL. But we don't stop there. The next iteration of that is your player in the game gets a power up, right? You increase your energy bars, you get some superpower in the game based on the fact that you ordered food from one of your favorite local restaurants.
Chad, I mean, I think in listening to you, and I knew everything you had talked about, but I think one thing that really hit me was, obviously I have a 15-year-old son, and we do a fair amount of DoorDash and Uber Eats, right? And it's just kind of the world we live in. I cook, but we always kind of are consistently seeing ourselves. So I'm coming at it from that perspective. There's there's a statement in question here, right? And I really want to kind of add on to what you said earlier. And the only thing you really get with those DoorDash and Uber Eats experiences, obviously, outside of the I'm going to buy and order food and it's going to be delivered, is that they are constantly pushing you to their, hey, give us a monthly amount of money and you get, free, I think minus delivery fees, which by the way, I've never done. I don't see a lot of value in that, right? I'd rather pay you the $4 or $5 I have to pay every time. And so I think what you're doing, I want to go back and really hammer that. I think that if you look at DoorDash, Uber Eats, and Grubhub and all those guys, I mean, yes, they're the 800-pound gorillas in the space because it's just that basic transaction, right? I'm just facilitating that transaction. But as we see adoption and as your demographic continues to really understand what it is you guys are doing, yes, you can get food in our IRL, but everything you just said, I think, is a game changer. And I don't think you're going to see the DoorDashes and the Grubhubs and the Uber Eats ever really go that way because because of how they approach their business models, right? And I think fundamentally, that's what I want people to understand. The importance of what you just said. You're taking this experience and yes, you're providing that service, but there's also that other side. If you're playing a game in the metaverse or whatever it may be, you get those power-ups and all those kind of things. The 54-year-old guy in me, I don't play games anymore. They stress me the hell out, so I don't play them. But the business guy in me and the father of a 15-year-old son, I'm like, oh, hell yeah, I get that, right?
Right.
So that's really my comment. I just want to really make sure people understood what you said because that's a big deal.
Thank you for that, Austin. And I'll try to unpack it as well, little bits in terms of like, what is that benefit to the user like you're going into? So let's talk about just the crypto side for a second with DPay. In our app, right? You guys are still there, right? I can't see it, but anyway.
Yeah, I just I gave you spotlight.
Okay, I won't freak out the next time. So yeah, in our app, you as you are ordering, as you're playing, as you're leveling up, even if you don't even know what crypto is, you're earning crypto, right? You're earning it as a reward, DPay. And the great thing that's doing is it's adding to the demand on DPay, even from people who don't know the space. And they're able to use that. They're accumulating it. And when they have enough, they go, yeah, I'm gonna use it to order food from that restaurant, right? And so people are being brought in and essentially onboarded to Web3, even with a frictionless wallet, to start getting into the crypto space and using it, getting utility first, right? And then being able to use it to buy food. And then they're getting extra rewards when they do with the DPay back program, which it just eclipses any other kind of loyalty program out there, like the return on that, like what you're getting in terms of DPay back for reward for your next purchase. It's crazy. So that dynamic, reward people first onboard them to space, and then give them utility so they can actually use it for payment, that's super, super critical. Because then as we onboard more restaurants, as we onboard more users, that's more people creating demand on a limited supply token. Supply and demand, it's always the thing, right? So we want to do that for our community, because then that also showcases the power of blockchain, crypto, that, hey, right, it is very communal. It is like, it's giving the power to the people. It's letting everybody benefit as a platform and ecosystem grows. That is just the crypto side, right? Then it's similar on the digital asset side, right? The NFT side. We want to show like a kind of best case example there too. So our industry pass, Austin, you talk about like the Dash Pass and the different programs they have for, to not pay delivery on those other platforms. Ours is, thanks for pulling it up, Zach, is you get this industry pass, you don't pay delivery fees. Not for a month, not for a year, but like, right, it doesn't end because it's the benefit is tied to the asset that you hold. And we say, all right, well, this isn't just that, it's a chance to reward the user with more crypto. So everybody holding this pass gets $10 a month in DPay, just right into their wallet to give them that much of a boost towards their next online order. They're also getting some of the most premium benefits at our restaurant partners. So usually the first community that our restaurant partners recognize with a secret menu item or a discount when they order, or you fill in the blank, is for this pass, because like this is the Devour community pass, right? So it has those prime examples. But we also view it as sometimes people just need a boost in like creativity, like what can you do? We're giving people creative ideas on how to make these connections between restaurant brands and community partners by showing them through this lens. Like, hey, we did it first, you can do it too. Like, here's the tool set on our platform to do it. Let us help you set that up if you need help, so that restaurants can build their own collaborations with whomever they want, and awesome communities can reach out to restaurant partners and say, get on Devour. We want to send our community members to you guys because you guys are going to recognize our community with X, Y, or Z.
Yeah, and I think, Chad, that goes back again. I'm just wanting to jump out and really hammer key points, right? I think you've said the word community. I haven't been taking note, but a lot. And I think one of our first conversations that Zach and I had with you and Shelly was we knew you were already going at that communal route, right? But I also want to point out, because our Zach and mine audiences are very, our channels are built on Shiba Inu and Dogecoin and some of the other communal coins. I love that you are, how multifaceted you guys are looking at this. You're looking at sports communities, you're looking at, all these different communities, but you're also you're also seeing it and going, okay, we need to do something, and we're going to do something for the Shiba Inu community or whatever it may be. Right. I think that's one thing. Again, I always look for leadership, right? I always look for leadership, and you guys being industry veterans, but also coming at it from this crypto angle, completely sets you guys unique, and you're early, right? We're all early. The people that are here early are very, very early. And I love that you're looking at all that communal, and then obviously doing everything you're doing. But, with your industry pass, you're going to have different things. Again, for these different communities, and everybody can grab and take what they want, i.e. respective and reflective of their communities. I think it's just amazing what y'all are doing in that regard.
Yeah, just quickly on that note, I mean, so many of the NFTs that are out there, it's like, why am I owning this? Aside from it just potentially going up, right? I mean, like, what's the use case? And I love that you guys have carved out a real use case. I mean, just at 0.086 ETH, and you're getting all these benefits: 0 delivery fees, $10 monthly in DPay, 5% DPay back on Devour Go orders. So, I mean, this is what it's about. And I think kind of bringing NFTs to real life is the way I kind of think about it. And you guys have definitely started to do that. Mikey, man, he's got a ton of great questions. So,
it's funny that we get this question from Mikey. Like, we've had this conversation multiple times internally. So while the platform doesn't let you do it today, it's only a matter of time before you can, because of the types of companies we've been talking to and working with. So Not today, but don't be surprised when you hear that announcement come out of Devour.
Love it. Love it. He also chimed in. He said if we could use rewards for tipping, that would be great too. So let's see what else we got. Huey says, so I'm not very smart. Does the restaurant determine which token they reward with?
Not today. So in our platform today, Devour DPay is the only payment and rewards token. To talking about partnering with token communities. So our first, I won't spoil too much, right? But we are going to be working with top communities like the ones Zach and Austin talk about all the time, to be able to accept those as forms of payment in our platform, and then recognize holders of those communities, holders of those tokens, with exclusive benefits. So just like holding an industry pass here, not just like, because there's probably going to be certain benefits that are going to be unique to the industry pass, like free delivery. But if you have, let's say, X number of X amount of Shiba Inu or Doge, imagine that being the key that unlocks your experiences at various restaurant partners. So in that way, you will see being rewarded. And I would bet both the Shib and Doge community can put up a serious fight in the community leaderboard.
Definitely. Yeah. And Mark chiming in, if Devour allied with Shibarium, it'll grow very fast. Yeah. Shibarium's launch date, Chad, has been announced. I don't know if you saw that. So people are excited. It's like August 15th, right, Austin? August 15th, 16th, somewhere in that time frame. So
1516. Yep.
Yeah. So definitely. Yeah. I think we've seen it. I mean, time and time again with these community tokens, if you can kind of get in there and form a partnership that everybody benefits, everybody eats, pun intended, then it could work. So definitely. So
on that too, one of the things that I think really gets us excited, it's like, yes, we have our own community and it's awesome. The people in it are awesome. I want to encourage everybody to check it out. We meet mostly on Telegram, so we're Go Devour on Telegram. But right, as awesome as our community is, we know that collectively things are even bigger than that if we're helping other communities grow, because not every community has our engineering team. Like we've got point in time 7 to 10 engineers working on this product, growing it, and like it's insane. It's this marvel of Web3 and Web2 engineering. Not every awesome community has that, but we can come alongside them and say, hey, we can give you the benefit of food, right? Restaurant partnerships, your community, add that utility to your token, your NFT, without you having to build it, right? We can plug you in, right? And we can build those partnerships through this platform so that your community that you have done an amazing job building and engaging, that's valuable to everybody. Let's just add in, because community and restaurants have always gone together. The fact that we can play a pivotal role in helping the larger Web3 space grow is very important to us.
Love it. Austin, you got anything?
Yeah. So Chad, kind of switching, but talking about devices, right? I'm talking about Metaverse. Okay. So, we're again, early. We have the sandbox and we have different metaverses being built and all those kind of things.
Right.
And I'm really leaning, I guess I have to say I'm a huge Apple guy, but Apple's new Metaverse goggle things. There's my tech. What the hell are they calling it?
I believe.
What are they going to call it? Oh, what the hell?
The Vision Pro, right? I'm not crazy. I'm thinking that's what popped into my head.
Vision Pro, yeah. I think it's Vision Pro, yeah.
So, it's going to come out next year, $3,500 price tag, et cetera. It's going to be expensive and all that kind of stuff. Really what I'm asking you about is that, this is more of your opinion, Metaverse adoption, right? Mm-hmm. And what are you / you guys talking about seeing in that? I mean, I think we've got to have, thank you, Vision Pro. I think we've got to have in my opinion, we got to have two things. We got to have Metaverse experiences that are graphically, visually very, very compelling. So we see a lot of these metaverses now that are starting maybe to be built in Unreal 5, that engine, et cetera. And this device like the Vision Pro to facilitate an even easier experience into that. in your opinion, kind of what's that marriage and what's that kind of adoption rate look like? And or is it we get rid of the device completely? What are y'all, what's kind of your 2 cents on that? Because I know that a big part of your strategy going forward is the metaverse, is the ability to be able to leverage your Devour Go technology. And when I'm in the metaverse, so I know there's a lot there. So just pick what you want and kind of.
There is a lot there, and yeah, that could be all of this, of course, my opinion, but I think so. For us, the focus is on gaming. The focus is on elevating a player experience, not independent of the metaverse, but as a focal point, right? So when we look at the Altiverse, why did we pick them as a first partner? Because they built an amazing game. It just happened to meet the definition of metaverse for most people because they incorporate the blockchain in that world. But they built it on Unreal Engine 5. It's been in development for 4.5 years. It's a AAA game built by the people who built World of Warcraft, Diablo, StarCraft. So it's like, it had all the elements of a good game, and I think that's key. Sometimes, what people look at with metaverse is that aren't thriving, they accuse them, well, it's not very fun and compelling. Maybe that's true in many cases, but a good game is a good game. And I think what we're going to see is more great games incorporate the blockchain. They'll incorporate crypto, they'll incorporate digital assets for all the reasons that's obvious to everybody on this call. And I think the metaverse will grow, but not with the goggles at the same rate as which the blockchain is incorporated into awesome games. And we're going to be there to help bridge that world. Like, hey, players in whatever game, wherever the players go, right? Wow. Sometimes we'll be in games where it won't even be blockchain-based game, right? It's just, hey, we're integrating Devour Go into that player experience. Other times, and I think over time, more and more, there will be blockchain elements because we can add that extra bonus of like, hey, those digital assets have power in the app. Maybe we're taking the game token in our app as well. Mm-hmm. But first and foremost, it's the games and the quality of the games and the player experience that are going to drive all of this forward. I think the Vision Pro has a lot of potential because kind of like back in the day when iPhones were new, I remember people getting that phone because they wanted to play Angry Birds.
Yeah.
And the numbers on Angry Birds were insane. I think it's very likely that a Vision Pro will have that killer app, right? Or 2 or 3 or 5 that people go, you know what? I'm sitting on the fence, but I've heard how amazing that is. I'm going to play it. And then it starts this trickle effect or this ripple effect of like other companies getting in, coming up with lower, different devices, lower price tags. And then there's just quality experiences and apps that move the metaverse and the goggles and pure, metaverse like Web3 games forward because the experiences are then there because that's what's going to make it all go.
Yeah. And I think you answered it way better than I was even expecting because ultimately you answered what your real answer was. It's the experience. The experience will drive the adoption. Right. And you're this component of that to say, okay, irrelevant crypto, although if you hold crypto and you hold these assets, you're going to get these extra things, which I think is a great thing. I think that's really what it does come down to. I hadn't really thought about it in that context because I said it like initially with Sandbox. I get it, but I don't get it. Right. I mean, whereas I think the new gen, I think a lot of them are starting as games, and have a metaverse component and all that kind of stuff. It is adoption. So yeah. So thanks for that. It's good answer.
In chat and hearing you talk, I love that the potential here for just kind of a plug and play model with other people building out successful games. Like, look how we can plug in with you guys and add something really, really interesting like DPay, right? Or something of the sorts, right? To kind of add that extra layer. I'm even thinking of some of the companies out there building Austin, like in real time here. Like we should talk to the people over at WAGME. They're great people. We know them well. We'll talk more about that off air, but I love that idea of what you guys are building. It's going to go perfect with what's coming, I think, in crypto, right? Like the gaming side, so much untapped potential, the metaverse, like all of these sort of things that kind of bubbled over the surface a little bit in 2021, but I feel like we're just kind of getting there, right? Whereas this next big bull market, I think those are kind of the sectors that are really going to take off. The enterprise sector, the utility-based sector, the gaming sector, Metaverse. So I love it. Now, from the token standpoint, so you guys can see on screen here, market cap right now, roughly, this tweet was probably from like a week ago or so it could be fluctuating a little bit. But one thing I want to focus in on, Chad, get your opinion on just from this standpoint, zero buy and sell tax. We've seen that kind of be a shift that a lot of people have kind of went towards. So what was your thinking behind that? Because we remember back in the day where it was like 10% buy and sell, right, Austin? And it's like that really keeps a lot of people from getting in, and maybe even more so bothers people and quite frankly pisses people off when they go to sell and they're like, wait a minute, where did my money go, right? So what was your guys' thinking behind that, and just kind of talk about that shift?
Yeah, and we were there with you late 2021. I mean, most tokens that came out seemed like they did that, and to be frankly, in our V1 we had a buy and sell tax, but we learned, like, wait a minute, this isn't conducive towards the long-term vision of a utility token that actually you're using transactionally in the platform to buy food, right? And so there we course corrected early on to make sure that we were positioned for long-term growth and scale in our platform. So you said all the reasons, Zach, why that didn't make sense to have a buy and sell tax. And these days I don't hear anybody talking about buy and sell taxes. I'm sure they're still out there, but yeah, it doesn't make sense for a real business ultimately.
But Chad, I'm glad you brought that up. Adaptation, right? I mean, the fact that you had it early in your contract, in your tokenomics, and you guys changed, and I think you adapt and you change, and you don't hear a lot of co-founders talking about the fact that, hey, we had that and we changed. And I think that that's something that people need to understand, is that, again, what I heard was that you listened and you watched the market and you saw what you needed to change to make it better for people who use your technology, who use your app, who are, all the communities and everything we've been saying for the last, 45 minutes. So that's something that I'm glad you said. I'm glad that Zach, that's good you asked the question, because, the market has changed. We were all there. You sound like you were too, Chad, where, you're buying and selling these tokens, and it was like a pain in the ass when you wanted to go sell it. And you're like, well, shit, man, I got 15%. I remember as high as 20% stated in their tokenomics. That was insane.
On that point, Austin, too, like, and Chad, you could chime in here. I mean, I feel like to get to that like next level of adoption, like we need to make it so easy. Like, everybody has Uber or one of those types of apps on their phone. They just know how to use it. It's just second nature, right? Like we need to get to that point with blockchain. And obviously you guys share that same vision, right? I mean, do you think, like, what do you think gets us over the hump in terms of full blockchain adoption? Is it just that? Is it, something else out there?
There's a handful of things. I'll pick two, right? One is the user experience. Is it easy, right? To your point, very important to us, right? That we don't just build for the Web3 enthusiast crowd, the degens. That is, I mean, love it, love y'all. Yeah. But we need to make sure that, mom, dad, grandpa can all, use this app. And the way we're doing that is focusing on design, right? If you go on Devour Go, you're going to see like, hey, wow, they really have a good design team from, user experience, UI perspective, especially on mobile, where we know that's where the vast majority of users will be. The other is the blockchain, the crypto wallet, the MetaMask, the Coinbase wallet, everything everybody listening probably did to onboard to the space. We don't need to require our users to do that, right? We partnered with Magic Wallet to do two major things, right? Logging into the app, authenticating your account, which includes a wallet, right? Not being anything more than just popping your email, right? And authenticating via email. No private keys, nothing like that. And then you're just given a wallet, right? That's just baked into your account that can start, collecting and leveraging these digital assets, so that you're unlocking these restaurant experiences based on your holdings, your assets, without knowing even all what that means, right? That's how we get there, right? The usability. So everything we're doing, from a product engineering standpoint, is geared towards how do we make this easier for all of the people who don't know anything about the space, while maintaining the kind of cool experiences and added support for the DeFi crowd, right? So that's key. The other is the killer app, right? I think what's going to make Web3 mass adoption, like those apps that everybody uses, right? And wants to use. Being easy to use is part of that, but it's also got to just be a cool experience. And we believe food has absolutely the potential to play that role of being the killer app. Like, how much more did people use their phones because of the DoorDashes and Uber Eats and the convenience ordering for pickup delivery? A lot. And so we're going to be able to play that role in driving mass adoption through the universal love of food.
Love it, love it. And this news that I've got up on screen, this came out in late June. So if you want to kind of take us through a little bit of what this means, and I kind of want to get into, if we could, just kind of the funding round. I know we had talked about that off air a little bit, going through VC funding right now, what that means, and but yeah, right here on screen, what does this mean here? The MongoDB here for startups program. Tell us more about this. Yeah,
so there's two kind of storylines that this communicate. The first is our technology stack in general, right? The number of companies that we partner with that make up all of our platform, right? The Google Cloud, Infura, MongoDB, CrossMint, Magic, ThirdWeb, APIs with CoinMarketCap, et cetera, et cetera. We are built for an enterprise-grade platform built to scale to millions of users already. Mongo, don't want to bore everybody, like just our quality database provider, right? That so when you're using the platform, you're ultimately able to see things quickly because data is organized in the right way, and so able to be put on the screen for you quickly. These guys are the best, and they integrate very well with everything else we're doing. But it also means what this indicates is all of the tech companies that like, hey, we want to spin up. We see blockchain's the future. We spin up a lab. We spin up a fund to help startups in the space build. We're gaining a lot of attention from all of our partners and others that will be future partners because they see what Devour is building and say, wait a minute, we want to be a part of that. So MongoDB is just the latest to do that. And we have others in the works right now.
And this is just one of the latest partnerships. You guys have done a fantastic job, even throughout this bear market, because a lot of companies, and Austin and I talk about this all the time. It's kind of put up or shut up time when we hit those rocky roads like we did in 2022, right? A lot of people just kind of crumble, right? And sometimes not for a lack of effort, but the fact that you guys have kind of muscled your way through and you're coming out on the other end of it, it says a lot because it's hard. It is hard to do that in a new market like we're in. Everybody's fighting for eyeballs. Everybody's fighting for attention, right? So I love it. But can we talk a little bit more about the VC funding side of it? You guys are in the midst of that right now?
Yeah, I won't get into too much detail on this because for regulations, I'm not allowed to. But I will say, yeah, we are taking fundraising very seriously right now, and we are really building to scale. We had bootstrapped the company, Shelly and I, to get to this point because that would ultimately let us control our destiny more as the company continues to grow. But now with the opportunity in front of us, we have between 300 and 400 restaurants live on our platform today. By the end of the year, we expect to have more than 3,500. To do that, to kind of reach that growth, to capture the opportunity in front of us, is going to take outside funding, and so we're in the middle of that process. So.
And Chad, on that point too, so markets. How many markets are you in now? Where do you expect to be by the end of the year?
We're in 15 major markets right now, and by the end of this month, that should grow to 25. And then from there, we'll be in the subsequent months in the most of the major primary, all the major primary and most of the secondary markets as well.
Love it, love it. Austin, you got some?
Yeah, Chad. I mean, I think what I see you guys as is y'all are at the forefront of. I mean, I literally was sitting here trying to think of other projects and other projects that are doing what you're doing. And for the life of me, I can't think of one right now, because what I see you're doing is that outside of the obvious, right? Outside of the obvious of, IRL food. Let's put that and go, okay, that's over there. I get it. But what you're doing is you are truly taking this gargantuan leap of working towards and delivering on a technology that embeds in our everyday life. Yet if you want to be in that metaverse or that gaming initiative and you want to get some food in there over there, again, you have that experience over there. And not just about the food, it's the experience, to your point. It's that's everything else that goes with that. It's very interesting that you guys are leading the charge. And Zach, I'm trying to genuinely think of another project that we've talked to in the last year that is not just talking about it, but is delivering on it. And I can't for the life of me think of one. And that just kind of hit me, Chad, as you were talking about all the things you guys are doing. And I know you and I and Chad, and Zach and Shelly have talked, and I got it, but I really just got it. I really just got it in the context of there's no one really else doing it, because it goes back to adoption, right? Is that you talk about your wallet, and Zach and I've talked about this, not your wallet, excuse me, your app, and the wallet was built into it seamlessly. And Zach, you and I've talked about how crypto is not going to be more than an investment to majority of people until we make it easier every day to use that, or to be able to pay for that thing over there if I want to.
Right.
It doesn't exist. MetaMask is hard. I use it every day. It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
It's a pain in the ass. And yes, I know it's a DEX and buy, but that's not a question, Chad. It's a statement. I really wanted to kind of get that off my brain, is that where Zach and I sit is in this very unique position of we see all these projects and we talk to a lot of them and all that kind of stuff. And what you're doing is fundamental and completely revolutionary and different. That's all I got. I just was like, that's a biggie.
Yeah, and if I can expand upon that, I think, Austin, what you're getting at really, and correct me if I'm wrong here, it's like a lot of the companies we work with, they're building out this great blockchain tech, right? But a lot of it is done behind closed doors, and it's done for somebody, to build blockchain, like an enterprise-based blockchain for a company or something like that, right? And it's so technical that a lot of people can't grasp it. There's certainly a technical element to what Devour is doing, but there's also a tangible element that makes sense to like the everyday user, that makes sense to the everyday consumer, right? And so I think that that you're tackling both of those, building out great tech, but also providing a great product for the masses, people. And right. I think that's kind of what you're getting at, Austin, right? We haven't really seen that.
I can genuinely sit here, Chad, and tell you, take this as you will. I can genuinely say that you guys are not just building it, you're delivering it. You've already delivered it, and you're doing, and you're already there. You're not just building, hey, 2 years from now, we're going to have this really cool thing.
Right.
Yeah. And so I wanted people that are watching this live, people that'll see the replay, to understand that it's just not that what you're tackling and what you're bringing to the table is way bigger than a food related experience. And I know it's more than food. I know that, and I know there's that, all that, there's that experience, but it is bigger than that. It truly is.
I appreciate that, Austin. I would love nothing more than to see, and we try to do this, right? We want to inspire other companies to build something real for the long term. It's the reality. It just is that still, right? Most people in the space are thinking about short term, right? It's just the hype and speculation. There's fun with that. There's maybe some value in that, but we need more companies like Devour building a truly engaging, meaningful user experience with a long-term perspective on the company and where it's going, because that's what's going to propel the space forward. We know we're unique, and that's the blessing and the curse, because people look at it. It takes some time to figure out, wait a minute, this is different, and figure out all of the nooks and crannies of how it's different. I want to call out our community, because we did exist before we had a product. We were founded December 2021, and for those first several months, we talked about who we were as co-founders, what we were going to build, what our mission was, why we were doing it, and people came in and said, I see it, right? I believe you guys are going to do it. And then we did it, right? So here we are on the other side. We've put out the apps, right? And we're building, and what we're focusing now on is building out more restaurants, right? So that as we partner with more communities, there's just more places to order from, more experiences that can be offered. So we're not like, 5 years down the road yet, but we see where we're going, right? And to us, it feels inevitable. But people who are just seeing this for the first time, it's like, this is different, right? This isn't like anything else out there. I got to wrap my head around it. And so, what I usually tell people is like, that's normal. Okay, you're going to take time to figure out how this is different. It's a company that has a token. It's a company that has a NFT collection that's very different, and we power other communities in a very different way. Come into our community and talk with the people, come to our events, to spaces, and learn, because we think like this, people will learn how to evaluate other companies and projects in the space by looking at what we're doing, because we know we're doing a lot right, and we want people to like say, oh, I need to start looking for that in other companies that I'm looking at. And there's a lot going on here, and just we know it's not like a quick, oh yes, boom, I got it. But it's what you said, guys. It's building something real that changes the user experience. It actually has the potential of being adopted in mass.
Mm-hmm. I love it. And to Austin's point, it's sure, it's you could think of it as DoorDash for the blockchain, but that's just a starting point. I mean, that's just one thing. But going back to the metaverse conversation real quick, Chad, as we kind of get closer and closer to wrapping it up. By the way, guys, appreciate you guys all so much. All the links down below. If you haven't hit the like button, definitely help us out in that regard too. Helps push us up in the old algorithm. But going back to the metaverse, just kind of a more macro question there. Where do you think the metaverse is going in terms of, just the next kind of 3 to 5 years with inside crypto? I mean, do you think like the big players that are here today are going to be the big players tomorrow? Or, like, where do you think the whole metaverse is going? I know it's a tough one too, because we know it's here. What exactly it looks like, maybe we don't know yet, because like we haven't been in it long enough. Like, I think the people kind of dictate where we go. But what are your thoughts?
I think it's got the journey to the metaverse is going to mirror our own journey at Devour, right? Because when we first started off, like it was more heavy in language and what you had to do to experience it. You had to be that Web3 enthusiast. You had to figure out MetaMask when we started, right? And I think but now you won't. So I think what we're going to see is the metaverse go that same path, right? There's game companies that are metaverse companies that will not have made the leap yet, and they'll figure out how to become more and more user-friendly, compelling experiences for everybody. But I think what metaverse is different is, at the same time, Web2 game studios are going to start, or not start because they already have, incorporate more blockchain into their games. Not as like the cornerstone at first, but as a feature. Hey, in this game that you recognize, this IP that you recognize and already love, now you can own those weapons. Now you can own that suit of armor, right? That little thing where now people go, okay, I have this armor that I earned, and now I can sell in a marketplace. And the little things starting there from like major game studios are going to move people towards the metaverse, because the people are going to like it. It's a good thing that the blockchain can enable. And so, but it's going to be very easy and user-friendly. So I think we're going to see it coming from both angles. Web2 games, incorporating more blockchain, and Metaverse is making it more and more easy for people with compelling experiences. So in 3 to 5 years, I think gaming and Metaverse are good. Those are going to come together. You're going to be ubiquitous. And I think there's going to be so much utilization of the blockchain, no matter how you slice and dice it. And AR, VR are going to become more and more prominent as well. I think people are going to be talking about how just big in general the metaverse and gaming is across all sectors, all countries, all everything.
Do you think, I'm just thinking about this in real time, do you think we get to a point where like you can virtually eat at your favorite restaurant? Say it's like across the world, right? But you can virtually eat there. I mean, I'm thinking, I mean, and that kind of goes for anything like that. I'm talking about restaurants, obviously, given what we're talking about, but it's like concerts and sporting events. And I think it's already starting to happen with sporting events. Like you could pay for virtual seats and things like that. Like it's mind boggling, but it makes sense. It does make sense.
It does, and that is something I think the VR, right? That actually one of the applications with the Vision Pro, when I saw, I was like, oh wow, you can throw these on with some friends and be together, because we focus on the communal aspect, together as a group, everybody from different locations having a shared dining experience. Why couldn't that be some awesome restaurant on the other side of the world, hosted by a celebrity chef who may actually be, promoting it himself to give you a private cooking class?
That would be awesome.
Absolutely.
I want one of our next live streams, maybe a little bit down the road, to be in the metaverse rather than this Zoom style, so outdated. Right?
Coming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But go ahead, Austin. What you got? I'm talking a lot.
No, hey, this is a unique. Usually I'm the guy talking, and Zach's like just chilling. No, I think, Chad, this has been awesome. I think I knew what you guys were doing, but I've had definitely some aha moments here in just hearing you, talk about it and elaborating on kind of the downstream stuff. And I think what you're doing, again, just to kind of finalize my thoughts, is wholly unique, right? And I don't think, and I don't personally know of anybody doing a good job of what you're doing. And so it's going to be awesome to kind of watch you and partner with you guys and see you guys, bring this, continue and make it bigger as we roll along. So
definitely. Mikey's got one here. You can see that.
Yeah, I'll be glad to hit that. So first thing I'll say is, pop in your address on devourgo.io and see what we have around you. We are in, again, 15 of the major markets. So New York, Miami, LA, San Francisco, Phoenix, Las Vegas, et cetera, et cetera. So check it out, especially if you're in a bigger city. If you're not, you'll see that you have the ability to tweet out at us, hey, add my city. So please do that, and just keep tabs on it, keep checking back, and we're adding restaurants every day to the platform. So yeah, come on in and see. Now what I want to make sure everybody leaves with is all right, what do I do with all this? Again, I'll say come into our community on Telegram. We're Go Devour, no spaces, GODEVOUR, and talk with the awesome people that have joined us yesterday and been with us for a year and a half. They're going to be able to answer all kinds of questions. Everybody's got some questions about this. Feel free, come in. The other is use the app, right? I mean, what better way to see the quality of what we've built and where it's going than just getting your hands on it? So we're on the web, devourgo.io. If you're an Android user, you can get it out of the App Store right now, DevourGo. iOS coming very, very soon to your Apple App Store. Play with it, right? But those two things, and of course, right? You see, I especially if you like food. I mean, everybody likes food, but if you really like food and you're really interested in where the restaurant industry is going, you want to be a part of that. I've heard you guys talk about it. There's just ample opportunity with any community you're a part of, any project you're passionate about, to get involved, especially at this stage, and have a real impact in something you're passionate about. So we invite anybody who's like, yeah, I see where this is going. I'd like to talk with you personally, right? That's where this is right now. You can have an absolutely positive impact like the people in our community have. We actually hired a guy into our company who was a member of our community. Now he heads up merchant onboarding. He's getting the restaurants configured in the system. So awesome. We want to meet you if this is something that resonates with you, and you could see being not just part of the advancement of Web3, but a part of your future individually. And of course, the opportunity with DPay, the opportunity with the industry pass and the experiences those unlock, also huge.
Love it. And just want to stress one thing you said. It's so early in crypto. I mean, we say it all the time, guys, and it feels as if, man, we missed something. And think about it. We're back down, 2021 levels before it all started. I mean, it's another great opportunity. We're still at only 5% adoption. Great companies building. Devour's one of them. All the links down below. Get in their Telegram. Over 1,300 people in there already. Follow them on Twitter. By the way, this is going to be first of many live streams and things like this. And so anytime there's something new, we'll be talking about it on our channels too, Austin and I. So, Austin, you got anything else?
No, I'm having to mute because I have a pool pump going. I have cicadas going, and I have dogs barking. I
heard the cicadas there a couple different times.
This is a usual Austin video. I got a lot of stuff swirling around me. So, Chad, truly been a pleasure, brother. I'm thank you. You've done a fantastic job of, I think, clarifying and really hammering home the value prop for what you guys are doing. And yeah, I think ultimately it's about community. So I would challenge anybody who wants to learn more about Devour, go join their community. That's a fantastic community. And I love that you guys are out there. You and Shelly, y'all are out there every day pushing the needle forward. So it's going to be awesome to watch you guys bring this home. So thanks, man.
Definitely. Thank you to everybody. Thank you, Chad. And thank you to everybody out there for listening. Nice to see Lawn Dart in the house too. Great friend of mine too in the space. Great to see you, man. But appreciate you guys all so much. And check out everything Devour has to offer. All the links down below in the description. We'll see you in the next one.
Thank you, guys. Take care, everybody.